Ladies and gentlemen, messed it up already.
We're back, everybody! Woohoo!
I nearly.
You
nearly
wanted to
did
be
it.
professional, didn't you? But you knew your
Yeah.
brain was like, "Whoa, what are you doing?" And it quickly, the subconscious stops you.
I had a bit which was going to be mark this day. It's a historical broadcast. We're back, but then I stumbled on the third word. But this is a more fitting start to season 3 of Miffs, everyone. Welcome to episode 115.
Welcome to Miffs.
I'm Matt Huss.
And I'm Dan Rose. Whether you know about Theseus or you're revising your syllabus,
if you want tales with a bit of jest, or you just want to hear about incest.
What?
It's really interesting.
Welcome to Miffs. Welcome to Miffs.
We're back. Did you miss us?
I did. Oh, Matt, I've missed you a lot. I mean, because it's very kind of you to take time out of your busy festival. Schedule doing Castable. See, I can't speak either. Do you know what? Let's just scrap off season 3. Miffs, let's just cancel it right now.
and people don't know this, but this is our 8th attempt at the first recording as well. So this is definitely it's one embarrassment.
You don't mess up this much in your other podcast, do you?
No, first time. You know what? In that other podcast, I'm not sure what's different because I think I really try a lot harder for that one, and I think. Castable is Castable's going good. I'm really enjoying it. But before we go any further, Dan and I haven't spoke to each other for about a month and a half, which is quite a long time for us. But we are known for prattling on, and we have got a lot to do today because not only is it a brand new season, it's a brand new mythology, and we've got a lot to get into. So we're going to have a catch up, but we're only going to put a timer on for 4 minutes. How about that, Dan?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, and as soon as the timer goes off, we're not talking to each other about anything personal anymore.
Okay. Although there is something funny I need to do with you later, but at least we'll catch up for a little bit.
Yeah, just broad catch up. 3, 2, 1, 4 minutes on the go.
I'm redundant.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, that's really sad. Oh, I thought it was going to be a bit more funny, Anyway, I'm sorry, mate.
It's okay. I think it's good. I'll have a good time.
But that kind of sucks because they made you work a lot, right?
Well, that's what you do in a job.
Can you explain what a job is, please?
It's so weird that you don't work for them anymore because they used to give you money, and I just think it's so cruel of them to do that to you.
Yeah, well, it is kind of cruel that they made you redundant after they say, you know what, we really like your expertise, but we don't like you enough to pay you going forward.
Well, I went on furlough, of course, for the last few months, so it was late on furlough. I think what you're referring to, is it not, Matt? Is that I went on furlough? I was one of the last people from my company to go on furlough. So you're saying it was cruel to keep me going. But you know what? Actually, it meant I was busy, earned a little bit more money. It was all good.
That's good. And
I think the COVID-19 situation is just. I work for the travel industry, obviously. So anyone who's in the travel industry, I think it was just hit. COVID hit it way harder than anyone had anticipated. So I think they ideally would have wanted to have kept me on. They would have wanted to keep a lot of people on, but just wasn't to be. So unfortunately, a large percentage of the people that I work with are made redundant. But it's okay. I get money and a new start.
Yeah. And what are you looking to do for your new start? Are you going to do podcasting full time? Are you going to? Do you know what you could do? Go straight into acting. A lot of opportunities there.
Yeah, not right now, obviously. But well, that's the problem, right? Is I'm being made redundant at a time when a lot of other people are made redundant, and also at a time when people aren't hiring. So even industries that aren't affected, they're waiting it out. But I can get a part-time job. I'm thinking actually long term, I might start my legal career or my political career.
I genuinely thought then when you said, I think in this time, I think I might become a rent boy. I thought that was genuinely what you were going to say there.
No, and I was thinking of maybe, how do you become prime minister? Because I'd like to look into that and do
it. Well, you know what? Have you let's do a quick checklist. Dan, have you been to Eton?
No.
Have you? Do you have any knowledge or interest in politics?
Kinda.
And do you think you're quite good for the country?
Yes.
You've got the job.
Okay,
well, you are now Prime Minister of Not of the UK, but of this podcast.
Yeah,
Oh
that's
God,
true.
no, you're not, are you? Oh God.
So that's my catch up. You got 30 seconds now. You do yours. What's up?
I've actually got a minute and 15, but I've actually lost time explaining that to you. So I'm doing good, man. I've got a lot on my plate. I've been doing Castival, a podcast which I pitch where people pitch their dream music festival. It's really good. And on top of that, though, like I've been actually made. Ironically, Dan, I've been made unfurloughed by coming back to work, and unfortunately, work said that because if I came back, the hours I was doing meant that I would earn less money than furlough, which is funny. But then I would essentially, so they've given me a lot of promotions. So I've been promoted at work and have essentially got like a full-time job. Wow. How the tables have turned.
I was going to say, wow, who'd have seen this coming?
And now I'm Prime Minister of the UK.
Nice. Well, I'm glad to hear it, Matt. It's good to hear your voice.
Yeah, it's good. And yeah, I've just nothing in particular really. I've just been working hard on tons of things. Been doing Twitch, writing my book and stuff like that. And I'm tired all the time, Dan.
Nice.
I'm old. Do you ever get any questions asked me in the last 3 seconds?
Oh, whoops, ran out of the time.
Oh no, Dan. But anyway, Dan, you said you had something planned for us for this special episode back.
What do. Now, obviously, due to COVID restrictions, we're still separated, hence why we hadn't seen each other in a long time.
Oh, is that why?
Yeah. Well, probably. It was one of the factors I like to talk about.
Yeah, it was the catalyst, but not the main reason.
Matt, can you please, do you have your mobile phone, your telephonic apparatus with you?
I do have my Apple apparatus.
If you'd like to get that with you, I'm going to send you a message. I'm going to send you a picture, actually.
Oh, I've fell for this before, yeah.
And it's not of a penis. I just want to get that out now. Or is it?
You should look at that chat dialogue.
And the first thing I want you to do is just explain what you see, and then we'll go from there.
Okay, so Dan sent me a photo. I'm going to click on it. I'm going to have a look what it is. Oh, wow. Okay, yeah. How did you find this image? Because what the image is, it's a picture of me in a suit, standing next to my brother in a suit, standing next to my mum with a dress and a fox fur as well. So, and I know exactly when this was taken, and why have you got it? Why have you sent it to me?
So, an anonymous source, who you already can tell probably who the source is.
Is it the dead fox?
Yes, I think is that a fox or a mink? Just for clarify, Matt's mum is wearing a dead animal over her left shoulder.
We'll put this on the Twitter and the Facebook group. But yeah. This is yeah.
So just before we do go into what this was taken, how old are you in this picture?
Oh, this is about. I'm gonna say about 15, 16.
So you're about 15, 16. Not only is Matt wearing his black tie, him and his brother are wearing tuxedos with bow ties.
Yeah.
The only difference is your brother Alex is wearing black shoes. Matt, you're wearing white shoes.
Yes, I love those shoes. I bought those shoes because I thought girls would like me if I wore them. To be honest, if you look at the picture, I kind of look like I've got a sumo suit underneath.
I remember you wearing these shoes at uni. I think I remember first year seeing them.
Yeah, because they got. I think they got scuffed because I wore them for prom, and I used to wear a lot of white. In fact, I'll show you another. I'll show you the whole outfit I wore for my prom in year 11, and it's all white suit. I look like a Mexican Coke dealer.
Nice. Well, the reason I find this funny is, and the reason that this picture was sent to me via an anonymous source, is I have it apparently on good authority that this is the night that you made out with your cousin.
Sorry, I think we're out of time. We should go into the myth, actually, shouldn't we? Oh, let's move on. Oh no, sorry about that, everyone.
Yeah. So just to reiterate, this is the picture that.
Yes, it was just at Wynyard Hall back in 2019, and no.
Does it bring back memories, good or bad?
I actually saw it pop up on Facebook as well. I guess the anonymous source might have saw it at the same time I did as well. I didn't know that Dead Fox had Facebook. In all fairness, the worst thing about that picture, I definitely do think, because obviously back then, not a vegan, but even then I did think that the genuine fox fur was kind of bad. And I'm very, that makes me feel uncomfortable. But did kiss a girl, so...
Yeah, who was your cousin? Let's just keep.
Sorry, what I meant is the dead fox skin is my is my cousin.
Did your mum slaughter this and skin the fox herself? Did she create the pelt herself? Did she hunt it or?
Lovely term of pelt, by the way. I like it. No, she didn't. I'm not quite sure where she brought it from, to be honest. But yeah, this is Mum thought it was dead posh, and I guess it is posh, but it's not nice. It was pretty hot. Like it was there for the whole day. Do you know what I mean? With its legs dangling down, and it's like pretty grim. And she didn't even skin it. It was just a roadkill, really. So
just carrying it around.
Yeah, I thought it was a dead posh, because right. Just for context, we went to this place and it was like extremely posh, and we were like proper Luddites. You know what I mean? Like my family are like working class from North Yorkshire. My dad's a mechanic. He's barely got any teeth, for God's sake. You know
well, you wouldn't know from the shoes you were wearing.
Oh yeah, exactly. But that's it. Well, this is our one day where we pretended that we were dead posh. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're like, oh yeah, Stephen, Terence, can you pass us the yacht butter, please? I don't even know what to say. Do you know what I mean?
The yacht butter.
Yeah, the yacht butter. What that was panic.
But did your mum just go back to her back catalogue of TVs and films and go, well, I know posh people wear dead animals on those shoulders?
Well, in all fairness, I think it was well, it's kind of like an aristocracy thing, right? It's a luxury, isn't it? Fox farming, isn't it?
I'll tell you what also does date the picture to be around 2015 is yours and your brother's hairdo is very Justin Bieber mop-esque.
Yeah,
I had the same haircut. All of my friends had the same haircut. It was just it was just what the girls wanted back then.
Well, apparently not.
Apparently, well, that's family members wanted.
Well, yeah, absolutely. And well,
one thing I will say, looking at this photo, and this is going to be a compliment, I think you've lost weight.
Wait, do you think I've lost weight in that picture, or I've lost weight since that picture?
Since that picture,
because I was a chunky boy. In all fairness, I didn't have a girlfriend, so just ate all the time, which I think is better than the girlfriend. Because why would you have a girlfriend when you can have Monster Munch?
I also must say that the anonymous source did speculate that this may have been one of the reasons you turned vegan. Seeing your mother with a dead fox, and also that your mum wore that dead fox because she was so jealous of your hair that she decided that she needed to up her game. Also,
I implore, before people go to check out this podcast, please check out this image. You can find it on Twitter at Miss Podcast. Also, you can find it on the Misfits fan club on Facebook, and we'll post it there. And I urge you to look at this before I say this next comment. Pause the podcast, have a look at it right now. Have a look at my brother's leg. He's the one in the middle, if you can't tell. His leg looks broken. If you look at his trouser leg, look at his left leg. It looks like it's jarred out of place. It looks like it's broken. Do you know what I mean? It looks like his shin splintered in half.
It does. How did I never find that before?
Because his trouser legs are so big and floppy, and it must have been in the breeze.
But his ankle's so skinny that it's really the difference is quite.
It looks like he's on stilts as well.
Oh, that does look funny. Actually, it does look like someone's. It looks like he's been playing Sunday League football and someone's slide tackled him.
His legs, because of that, his legs look so tiny. Like it looks like his body looks out of proportion. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Did your brother make out with any of your family members that night?
Yeah, my grandma.
Okay, and with that, we'll go to let's go over to our. Are you excited, Matt? Season 3.
I can't wait to see what's in stock for us. Hey there, my name is Matt Huss, and in this link, I have an American accent, and I advocate the safe use of Miffs podcasts in small doses. So, Dan, we are no longer doing Greek myths, are we?
No, goodbye, Greek and Roman myths. Get lost.
And we're no longer doing Norse myths either.
No, Greek. No, get lost.
But we are doing.
I don't know any other insults other than get lost. I don't know if that was clear.
Dan, you know more than that.
Go away. There we go.
Your whole podcast is very much the basis of my insult catalogue, really. But yeah, Dan, what are we doing this time round in season 3? What's our plan of action?
Well, season 3 is going to be a little bit of a miscellaneous because there are such wonderful myths from around the world, from other civilizations other than Greco-Roman and Norse. But unfortunately, some of them they're not long enough to be able to do masses and massive episodes like we've done with the other two. So what we're going to do is we're going to kind of do a bit of a miscellaneous. We'll try and keep it as chronological as possible. But the one that we're going to start with will give us quite a few episodes, to be fair. And that will be Egyptian. Ooh.
Yes, I think you know what, Egyptian. I think is a good place to start because I think a lot of people would know about Egyptian history. Well, certainly like the mythology of history, like ancient Egypt. I think people have a basic grasp of it. I guess we learned that in schools.
Yeah, and especially thanks to the film The Mummy.
Oh yes, the historical. You know what? Every time we start a brand new thing, you're like, "Oh yeah, that's." I'll always mention a film which has no bearing of historical accuracy whatsoever. It was Troy originally, then it was bloody Thor Ragnarok.
300. I mean, there's various sources I've gone to, and they're all correct.
It's not sources. It's not source, is it? You can't say. Sorry. Dan, what did you quote in your uni essay? Yeah, Die Hard. That's not a source. A film can't be a source. You know what I mean? Regardless, thank you for mentioning it. The Mummy. Yeah, it's essential reading before today's podcast.
Yeah. But the Egyptians, I mean, people have heard of them.
Yes, absolutely.
And I think pyramids. People will. I don't know about you, but have you? Actually, we did this. We normally do this at the start of the season. What do you know about Egyptian mythology, Matt? Let's see if we just between the two of us. Is there anything you know? I think I could name maybe a few gods that I've heard of, but I don't really know anything more than about what they do. Are you in the same boat? Like you might have recognized some names.
So I remember in primary school learning like Egyptian mythology around the same time as learning about like Norse stuff, like with Beowulf and stuff like that. So yeah, I think this is like the start of when my love for mythology starts, I guess. And so basic gods like Ra for sure, and stuff like hieroglyphics. I know what they look like Anubis.
Anubis, yeah. Is it Horus, the guy with the hawk head?
Oh yes, yeah. Horus.
He always pops up.
Horus does sound like he's a middle manager. Do you know what I mean? Like, Horus, you mind doing the accounts on Channel 3? If that's all right.
I think it's Horus.
Horus. Obviously, stuff like the monuments to that kind of civilization, like your Cleopatras, your hieroglyphics, mummies, stuff like that. Dan, who's your favorite mummy?
Based purely off of the film, I would say Imhotep.
Yeah. My one is King Tut because Steve Martin did a song about it once in the 70s.
King Tut is is a very famous mummy, to be fair.
How about Niobe?
Howard Carter, of course, discovered his tomb.
Oh, God, it's good to be back, isn't it, Dan?
It is. Didn't they all get curses? Isn't there a whole thing surrounding the tomb, right? All of them, the people that discovered it, supposedly died quite quickly afterwards from various ailments, and people said it was a curse.
I think it's mythologized.
It was probably just the 1920s.
They were killed by racism. So anyway, let's head straight to the myth.
Yeah, so today's myth is it's going to be one episode. It's one decent sized myth. But it does kind of come with two parts, so we might they kind of got subtitles, shall we say, in each like two chapters of the same episode. And the first part of this story is the Egyptian creation myth itself, and that is just called the story of Ra. Would you like to take it away?
You know what? I have no idea what's going to happen, but I would love to take it away. Here we go, season 3. Here we go. Long, long ago, before the beginning of time, there was Nu. The name given to the dark, swirling chaos of churning, bubbling water from which all life sprang. Eventually, from this chaos, there came the light, the sun, the creator of life. Also, I like how at the beginning of time, it's called Nu, like NU, but like a bit like nu metal. Like I like it because it's saying new, but it's not really new.
Yeah. So already we're off to a good start. Clearly, the Egyptians worship like the sun god. The sun was a god. He was the first one, basically.
Yeah. Good place to start, the sun. I wonder if the Egyptians had their Daily Mail. That's a newspaper joke.
Please continue.
Danny, I thought you were going to laugh at that. You hate those jokes, don't you?
Yeah, I like the awkward silence. I love it.
No, you have to laugh at my jokes, even if they're awful. The Egyptians thought the sun was a god, and they called him by different names. At midday, when the sun is at the height of its power, it was called Ra, which means great and strong. In the evening, however, when the sun was set, it was known as Atum, the old man. So, that's so pretty. So it's kind of like the lifespan of a day. So, like you have a little baby son, which is like in Teletubbies. Come on, that was a good reference.
That was a good reference.
Then it goes to Ra at midday, great and strong. Then Atum, old man, like autumn.
Yeah. One thing I will say, having done a bit of research, is that I think even though Ra is technically just the name of it when it's at its strongest, I think more often than not they do just call it Ra. That becomes the more standard name for the sun. Then
Okay, cool.
Basically, when they say "oh Ra," I think they mean the sun. It doesn't necessarily that's just become its. I mean, they obviously do also use the other terms, but I think more often than not they just call it Ra.
So what I kind of like about this straight away, because like obviously in Egypt it must be absolutely baking. So it's kind of fitting that the first thing they pick and the most powerful thing they pick is a sun god. You don't get that in Norse mythology, do you?
No, the cold god.
Yeah, Niflheim. Anyway, the sun god, the creator, was alone in the world. He was neither male nor female. And he had one all-seeing, blazing eye, which could roam the universe, observing everything.
So he was Sauron, basically.
Yes, absolutely. And he was looking for a ring and a couple of hobbits. Oh, sorry, I'm reading the wrong source. Apologies. Lonely, he joined with his shadow to produce a son and a daughter. What? Wait, you can produce with your own shadow? That's mental.
By the way, when it says lonely, he joined with his shadow, I think what they mean is, whilst being lonely, he fucked his own shadow and created a son and a daughter. I think is what they mean.
Oh my god! Like, if I knew that was an option, I wouldn't have kissed my cousin. You know what I mean?
He's just banging. He's so lonely. He's like, oh, that shadow's looking pretty sexy.
Oh yeah. Shame about his brother's ankle though. Interesting. So he's banged out his shadow, who's produced a son and daughter. Very interesting. He gave birth to his son by spitting him out, and he named him Shu, the god of air. Then the son vomited, and he spewed up his daughter, Tefnut, who made her the goddess of rain, mist, and moisture. Okay, we're 3 paragraphs in, and already this is fucked up. Like immediately, like this is a good place. I like it. It's like he's fucked his shadow and puked up 2 sons, and a son and a daughter. Yeah, like this is already weird. Anyway, Shu and Tefnut were given the task of putting chaos into order, and started by separating the light from darkness. But while doing that, they got lost into the watery chaos of Nu. The sun was terribly worried about the disappearance of his beloved children. He took his one eye and sent it out into the universe to search for them. The eye searched endlessly for the 2 children of the sun god through the swirling, bubbling, watery chaos of Nu.
Can I just say, I think what he's basically done is he's got lonely, fucked his shadow, he's vomited up his son and his daughter. They're then like, oh, hey, what do you want us to do? And he's given them a ridiculously difficult task, is I think what's happened.
Yeah. Absolutely.
He's like, can you just sort all this out and make stuff of this nothingness? And they're like, sorry, you what? And he's like, yeah, anyway, have fun. And then lo and behold, it's too big a task and they've gone missing.
Yeah, and like, he like the first ever father, I guess he's a single parent with his shadow. True. And, but he's already left his children, like, he's already abandoned his children, if you know what I mean. Like, he's kind of a bad dad straight away. Well, bad parent. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. He's like, can you just sort this chaos out? And they're like, oh, it looks pretty difficult. Like, where do we start? And he's like, I don't know. Just do it. I'll be here watching TV.
It's like nothing else is created, but there's bloody like Netflix.
Do you reckon what happened is he sent them off, and then like a really long time passed, and he was like, oh, I should probably have.
They should have called by now. But
I should by now. This is embarrassing. I should probably look for them.
Get my eye to call you.
Anyway, I hope they weren't missing for too long.
Eventually, after many years passed,
Oh, quite a long time.
it's nice that he doesn't seem too concerned.
Many
you know what I mean?
years.
And they've only just been born. Like, do you fancy doing this job? I know you're an infant, but please sort out this order. So like, there must be about like 5 or so now. So after many years had passed, the all-seeing eye found them and returned them to their father. Seeing that Shu and Tefnut had returned safely, the sun god was so overcome with joy that he wept tears of happiness and fucked his shadow. His tears poured down upon the earth, and wherever they fell, humankind sprang up. The sun and his children then decided to make another eye, and this became the moon. Ah, that's cool.
Isn't it cute that humans, I like that, humans are sun tears.
Sun tears. That's
Tears
cool.
of happiness created by the sun god.
Yeah, it's actually quite a sweet thing to have.
Because he felt so relieved that his children weren't dead. And he was like, oh, that was going to look bad. That was going to be bad parenting. That was...
And then he looks away from the earth for 1 second and goes, where have all the humans gone? For God's sake, Jesus Christ. I took my eye off them for 2 minutes and now they're on the moon. Jesus Christ.
But he's made the moon. That's cute. So now he can watch over them, like, with the moon as well. The sun god was now ready to create a world for his new people to live in. That's hilarious, by the way. Just for this is the idea that he's cried, he's created humankind, and he's like, oh shit, I've got to put these somewhere now. What the hell?
And they're just dying in space.
Yeah, exactly. Shu and Tefnut produced twins who were tangled together at birth. Yeah, because they're... Whoa, hang on. Sorry, hang on. Shu and Tefnut produced twins who were tangled together at birth. Do you not think that has anything to do with the fact that that was an incest baby?
Well, right. Would you is it more incestuous or less incestuous than shagging your own shadow? Because I'm not quite sure.
But then also they are the only ones around, so like, hey.
Yeah. Okay. Let's play a quick game. Is it worth Dan? If you were in that position, let's say you were Shu, and would you rather bang your sister or your dad's shadow?
Yes, that's true.
What's
your
the worst
dad's shadow
thing?
is also technically kind of your mum.
Yes, and also your dad is also technically your mum. They're kind of gender neutral.
Yeah, you just... also, I think I'm just going to pre-warn this for many of the Egyptian myths. Just like their royalty, ancient Egyptians did not mind a little bit of incest. I think that comes up a lot.
What? It's really interesting.
Nice. Shu and Tefnut produced twins who were tangled together at birth. Lol. Geb, the earth, and Nut, the sky.
Okay, so there's already hilarious names: Shu, Tefnut, and Nut. Geb and Nut. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
they're basically conjoined twins, the earth and the sky. That makes sense, actually, as to why they stick together.
Kill me! Kill me!
As Geb lay down to make the earth, he rested on one elbow and bent his knee up to make the hills and valleys of the earth. Meanwhile, Shu, the god of air, having pushed the twins apart, she pushed them apart, held Nut high above Geb so that she formed the sky with her body arched over the earth, touching the horizons with her toes and fingertips. The ancient people of
The ancient peach of Egypt.
Yeah. The ancient people of Egypt often painted Geb and Nut with Shu pushing between them. In paintings, Nut's skin is usually blue, like the sky sprinkled with stars, and Geb's skin is mud brown with green hair representing the grass and plants of the earth.
I tell you what, Dan,
a bit of history there. I knew that off the top of my head.
I tell you what, Dan, my nut skin's also blue. I'm not sure about you.
How long were you waiting to say that joke?
For 2 minutes. I've also learned not to interrupt you during the flow of it because it's a hard edit. So no thanks.
In time, Geb and Nut produced 4 children, well, like mother and son, like mother, like father. They produced 4 children, 2 gods and 2 goddesses. These 4 siblings represent the forces of life. Now, these are the important gods, by the way, these next 4. So, Osiris, god of fertility, agriculture, and civilization. Isis, the mother of goddess. We'll come back to the name Isis. Seth, or Set, actually. It's spelled Seth, but I think it's pronounced Set. I know that because
like Seth. So we have Osiris, we have Iris, and Seth. You know what I mean? Just wearing glasses.
Set, the god of evil, and
Nephthys.
Nephthys? How are we saying that?
Nephthys.
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 Goddess of. Hang on. Do you know what we're going to do? Real quickly, we're going to go on Google We're going to go on Google and we're going to see if there's a little speaker button.
I told you it's right, and it's spelled, by the way, Nephthys. No, I think it's Nephthys.
Nephthys.
You just say Methodist. And Nephthys is the goddess of death.
Yeah, it's pronounced Nephthys. They said.
Nephthys.
No, not Nephthys. You're putting a T in. It's Nephthys.
Nephthys. Okay, yeah,
Nephthys, like that. That's how the YouTube video did it.
To be honest, I just like the cadence and rhythm of like some like Imhotep stuff like that.
So basically, just to recap, we've got Geb and Geb and Nut, the children of the two sisters, Shu and Tefnut. They had 4 siblings: Osiris, god of fertility; Isis, the mother goddess; Set, the god of evil; and Nephthys, goddess of death. So there's kind of like two. It's almost like parallels, isn't there? You've got the one brother and sister are kind of the good ones, god of fertility, mother of goddess, and then the other 2 siblings, Set and Nephthys, are kind of god of evil and goddess of death. So they're kind of like pairs, aren't they?
But imagine like when you were like they were giving birth, like, oh, make sure Osiris is okay. Oh, Osiris okay? Let's see how our 3rd child's doing. Oh, it's the god of evil. You know what I mean? like, you just had 2 nice ones, and they just thought, yep, this is the evil one.
And they're like, let's try for a 4th, and hopefully this one will even out. Oh no, she's the goddess of death.
Oh, and now my fanny's all dead. You know what I mean?
In ancient Egyptian culture, it was normal for royal siblings to marry to continue royal bloodline. This practice was also seen in their gods' relationships, because Osiris and Isis were married, as were Set and Nephthys. Okay, so that's kind of like I mentioned earlier. So the 2 siblings, so actually, like we said, with the good and the bad siblings, they joined up and they got married.
Dan Rhodes, for the first time ever, you just did a Matt Hoss right there. You did a Matt Hoss. You just told us information which was in the next paragraph. Screw you, buddy. How does that feel?
Feel all right, actually, about it.
I thought you'd be more traumatized.
Well, I didn't quite do a Matt Hoss. I feel like a Matt Hoss thing to do is to really, really go crazy for 5 minutes and then realise that what you're about to say is exactly what it said.
Well, you did do it. Oh,
but mine's more about just historical things, about how they liked incest. I thought that was just a quip I made, as opposed to actually something I knew.
Did you miss me?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's part 1 done. So that's the kind of the origin story of the universe. Let's go straight into Osiris and Isis then.
The brother and sister. Ooh, yeah.
A long time ago, the god Osiris came to Egypt to rule as king. He brought the Egyptian people new laws and taught them how to farm well and live peacefully in their villages. Osiris was a very wise and powerful king, and was loved and respected by the Egyptian people. Unfortunately, his brother Seth, the god of death, was very jealous of his brother's power in Egypt and began to form a plan to kill Osiris and take over his throne. Very insecure, these gods.
Yep. Seems to be a theme in all mythology we do.
Yeah, absolutely. Maybe we should have the god of insecurities, and he'll be very powerful. Anyway, late one night, Seth tiptoed into Osiris's bedroom. Careful not to wake up Osiris or his queen, the goddess Isis, his sister, Seth measured Osiris's body from top to bottom and from side to side. The next morning, Seth took the measurements to the carpenter, who made a beautiful wooden chest decorated with bright paint and sheets of gold. Do you reckon Seth has a really good working relationship with that carpenter who makes coffins? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, I mean, he's the god of evil, right? So I feel like he's got a nice little enterprise on the side.
Yeah, exactly. He's
like, oh, hey, Seth, how you doing? Hey, buddy, need another coffin for you? Yeah, sure, I'll have it by Tuesday. Sweet. Who's it for? It's actually my brother. Oh, you naughty dog.
I'm expecting nothing less from you, you're bloody evil, you cheeky get. Anyway, that night, Seth threw a huge party and invited Osiris as the guest of honor. I would be suspicious if your brother, the god of evil, invited you around and you were a guest of honor. And also, who else is at this party? If it's like an evil party, it's like, is Louis C.K. going to be there? You know what I mean? Is Morrissey going to be there? You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, famously in the Egyptian times, those people were around, so I would imagine so.
Yeah. Who else would be at the evil party?
Hitler.
I was trying to go for more light-hearted ones, but you go for, you know what? Head straight in. Okay, fair enough.
Do you think though, like, okay, so Set is the goddess of evil, the god of evil, sorry, but he's also the guy's brother. So maybe to the other siblings, like to Osiris, for example, maybe his brother's just like a black sheep. He still, he doesn't see him necessarily as the god of evil. He just sees him as like, oh, my brother. He's a bit mischievous, but it's fine.
Yeah, a bit like Loki, because he was a goddess of mischief. Okay. Like, he's more of a pain in the ass rather than evil.
Yeah, and he's like, oh, my brother's trying to like send me to a party. I don't really want to go because I don't really like, what he's like. But, he's my brother and, we got to, fine, I'll go.
He's my brother and my cousin.
Yeah.
The night was spent feasting, singing, dancing, and playing games. For the final game, Seth brought out a huge wooden chest. He announced that the first person to fit perfectly into this chest would be allowed to keep it, which is the worst kind of come down with me entertainment in the world. You know what I mean? Like, who can fit in this chest?
I like how that's the final game. So that's like the centerpiece. Yeah, the centerpiece game.
How shit would the other chests, the other games must be if that's the final one? It's like, all right, guys, you played put nails into our fingertips. Now it's who fits into the chest. You know what I mean? Like,
he's the goddess of his. I actually imagine that it was like the opposite in that everyone's having an awesome time, but then him making everyone do this game looks super suspicious because it's so obviously a trick.
Yeah, we just played Taskmaster. We just
everyone's having a great time. He's like, hey guys, do you know what would be fun? To see who fits in this chest. And everyone's like, well, that's obviously a trick.
And obviously he's got like a massive padlock on it. It's like, oh no, it'd probably be fine. Like, yeah, I mean, anyway.
One by one, each of Set's friends climbed into the chest. Oh, he has friends, which is nice. Unsurprisingly, no one was able to fit into the chest, which was made perfectly for Osiris. Finally, Set and his friends convinced Osiris to try his luck with the chest. Osiris stepped into the chest and laid down. The chest fit him perfectly, just as Set had planned. Just as Osiris lay down, Set slammed the lid and sealed it shut. Set and his friends took the chest down to the Nile River and dumped it in, knowing that Osiris would never be able to survive.
Okay, so already one episode into Series 3, and we kind of have first betrayal and first kind of grisly murder as well.
Yeah,
so that's pretty
nice.
But also, it's kind of dumb, though, that idea of, like, who can fit into this chest. Because firstly, it's obviously a trap. Secondly, surely other people could have fit into it as well. Do you know what I mean?
That's true.
Like, it's not exactly...
Well,
like,
do you know what I'm kind of picturing, though, given that it's the Egyptians?
Yes.
I kind of picture, you know how, like, Tutankhamun, when the mummies have their sarcophaguses, it's kind of, like, in the shape of them?
Yes, okay, yeah, so it is more...
So I'm thinking it's more that sort... You know the type I mean, right? It's kind of like their shoulders and their weight, like, it kind of looks like them. Like, I wonder if it's more like that.
Yeah, but in all fairness, like, and also, surely you'll be able to tell who it's made for by the person. You can just stand next to it. Do you know what I mean? It's like, it's probably my size.
Funny is it says here, Set and his friends finally convinced Osiris. So that implies that maybe he was like the last one. He was like, look, that's obviously for me.
It's like quite clearly, and also like, surely it's a rigged game. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of like Cinderella and like the slipper. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
that's true.
Anyway,
so he's dumped in the Nile River. That's quite a horrible way to die, actually.
Yeah, so he's kind of drowned to death. Like, oh no, my fertility, no. Yeah.
When Isis heard the news of her husband's death, she was extremely upset. She rushed to the riverbank and after several days of searching, found the wooden chest. Isis opened it and removed the dead body of her beloved Osiris. Crying, Isis hid Osiris's body in the river grass. She didn't want Set to find Osiris's corpse before she could perform the proper rituals that would allow him to pass into the afterlife. Late that night, Set returned to the Nile to make sure Osiris's body had washed away. The chest was nowhere to be found, but after searching the riverbank grass, he found the body of his late brother Osiris. Furious, Set cut Osiris's body into 14 pieces. To make sure that the body was never found again, he held the pieces all over Egypt.
This is pretty messed up already, right?
The next morning, Isis returned to the river with her sister, Nephthys, and her friends to perform the necessary rituals, only to find Osiris's body gone. To be fair, their sister Nephthys is goddess of death, so maybe she's not as evil. Maybe she's more about more in a spiritual way as opposed to an evil way.
And also, just tap into ancient Greek culture and do correct me. Feel free
I'd
to
rather if
email
you did
us.
ancient Egyptian culture, but carry on.
What did I say? Sorry.
Greek.
So ancient Egypt. So yeah, here's some stuff about the ancient Greek. Genuinely sorry about that. Ancient Egyptian culture, like with and we're not experts on this, so please correct us if we are wrong. Email us at misspodcast@gmail.com. But yeah, so yeah, but as you mentioned earlier, with the afterlife, there's I guess death is a transition, not necessarily the end point. So she's not necessarily evil. She gets you to that other place. Right?
Yes, yeah. I think they. I mean, we all know. I mean, ancient Egyptian culture is kind of synonymous with death, isn't it? Like the mummies, the sarcophaguses. Like they really value that.
And stuff like pyramids are like mausoleums, aren't they?
I mean, they're just tombs. I mean, they're pretty badass tombs.
And yeah, so yeah, it's very interesting take on it as well.
So they found that his body's gone because they don't know that he's been scattered all over Egypt. Isis transformed into a huge bird and flew high over Egypt. Using her sharp vision, she was able to find all the pieces of the body to put Osiris's back together. That's cool. With the help of Nephthys, Thoth, and Anubis, Isis performed a great act of magic. Very carefully, they began to sew Osiris's body back together. They worked together night after night. When the body was whole again, they wrapped it head to toe in strips of linen, creating a mummy.
Oh, that's so clever. Also, I like Thoth. Thoth is my favorite person so far because it kind of seems like it's Thor, but under a shit alias. Like, hello, my name is Thor. I mean Thoth.
Now, I'm pretty sure there are other myths we're going to do are about Anubis in particular, who has his own canon. So we won't go into them too yet, but we'll just say that there are other gods that we'll break into those later.
Sure.
There will be other myths. But that makes sense about why they create the first mummy and why they're wrapped in linen. It was to keep the pieces together. That's kind of cool, huh?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's like an origin story of like their
tradition.
And it makes sense. That's cool. On the night of the full moon, Isis used powerful magic to bring her husband back to life. Osiris embraced Isis and thanked her sister and her friends. He told them he would not be able to stay in the world of the living. He explained that having died, he needed to travel to the world of the dead, where he would become the king of the afterlife. Sweet gig right there, king of the afterlife. Don't mind it. Before he left, Osiris told Isis not to worry. He told her that she would soon give birth to a son, Horus, who would defeat Set and become a great protector of the Egyptian people. By taking the throne from Set, Horus would restore order and peace to the universe.
So that's another myth for another time, I guess. They're going to have a fight or something?
Yeah, they're going to kick each other's butts. But before we get to that, we need to rank both of these chapter parts in the next section. Oh, Dan, do you know what I've just realised? Because we have a brand new season, we have to create a new jingle as well.
No, we don't. We didn't for North, and we're not for now.
Oh, we did it for Norse. We did. Yeah, very good.
A new jingle. No, we didn't. Did we create a new jingle? Like, as in
I did. One? I created a new jingle for Norse. It was like Norse myths.
Oh, I thought you meant the very first jingle, like the welcome to myths. I was like, my goodness.
No, God.
Oh yeah, you can do a new one. Yeah, you can do. Mate, if you want, you can do one for different. Like you can do one for the Egyptians. You can do one. We'll do it as we go. Anyway, Matt, how do we rank these things?
As ever, we rank them on 4 categories out of 10 for a total of 40. Those are life skills, there are morals, there are creativity, and WTF.
Right, let's get into it because I think there's a lot to digest. Life skills. What have we? The practical things we've learnt.
So we learned how to build a coffin.
We learned how to make. Well, actually, let's go right back to the beginning. We learned how to create life from tears. We learned how to fuck your shadow.
Yeah, already knew that, but fair enough.
We learned how to separate conjoined twins.
Yes, absolutely.
We learned how to create the moon. In fact, actually, we learned how to create stop chaos and create like normality. Like you say, how to create the universe.
We also learnt about how to love your children and how to get free labor.
Yeah,
that's morals, I guess. Morals.
That's morals. But like you say, then we learn how to build a chest, how to throw a party.
Oh yeah, how to murder someone.
How to murder someone.
How to chop someone up.
Yeah.
How to stitch them back together.
How to create a mummy.
Yeah, I also a lot of incest as well, which is quite fitting for.
I was going to say, I like how, without realizing, we did an intro where you kiss your cousin, and then it turned out to be a myth.
I didn't kiss my cousin.
This is a lot of incest, even for Miffs standards.
we really know our demographic. If anyone's in an incestuous relationship, do email us at misspodcast@gmail.com. Let us know. Get in touch if you'd like to sponsor us. Please do. Yeah, I think that's it's pretty decent. There's some big ones, but not. The quantity is mediocre, but the quality is high, I would say.
Yeah, I would say
6 or 7.
I think 6, actually.
I think maybe it's a little bit better than 6. Is it? No, it's 6. It's right. 6.
Yeah, I think it's 6. Okay, morals. So these are the moral things we learned.
Don't trust your brother.
Don't have incest. Well, actually, the moral is kind of do because it creates awesome people.
Well, no, I think you gotta. Yeah, I think you can mistrust your brother. You gotta be distrustful of people, but also from negative things do come good things, right?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
And also, death isn't the end. It's just the
no. I think that's definitely you're right. That's definitely the big overarching moral, isn't it? Is that like it's okay. Like Osiris was okay with being dead. I mean, okay, unlike most of us when we die, he was given an awesome job, like a job promotion. But
unlike some of us. But yeah, it's but you also have to get cut up in like 13 pieces, 14 pieces. So that's not ideal.
Do you think there's any morals to digest from the fact that like humankind was created by tears? Is that a good of happiness? Is that a moral in some way? Like we're created from happiness.
I think that's a nice moral, and also the moral is that we were created from happiness. Then we're so disorganized that there was nowhere for us to live. Do you know what I mean? I think that was an issue.
Yeah, but I think you're right. The bigger moral here is definitely about death and like family.
What are you feeling? Because there's definitely. We don't want to stray into WTF territory, but there's certainly...
To be honest, this myth is a creation myth, so they tend not to have a lot of morals because it's more about just explaining the world, isn't it, and how it came about. There's not. So I think it's honestly like a 3 or a 4 for morals.
I think it's 5. It's mid. It's got some decent
because of the death stuff and that.
Yeah, okay, I think it's down the middle for sure.
Give it a 5. But typically, like I say, creation myths, they don't tend to have huge morals, do they? Because of just by the nature of their narrative. But they do tend to be very creative, which I think is going to score high.
So much. Well, we're basically a brand new thing. There's incest. There's brothers and sisters. There's gods for every occasion. There are and quite original. Although the archetypes of jealous gods are quite regular things. The way that the Egyptians do it are quite interesting, and also the sun being kind of the pinnacle of it is quite interesting.
The fact that the sun god Ra threw up his children and then fucked his own shadow, that I mean, there's a bit more WTF maybe.
Yeah,
still
that's
creative.
Definitely WTF. Also the fact that he starts off, he's Ra, but then he's like Atum, like he transitioned through the day. I like that.
That's true. The narrative of like the 14 pieces, that's quite. I know it's also WTF, but that is actually quite creative. Like it could have just been like it's weird that it's a set number. And how the mummy is because it's like keeping his body together in linen. That was really cool.
I'm gonna say a number, and I want you to agree with it.
Family tree, so that's quite creative. Like there's actually a family tree being created.
Yeah, but it's not really a family tree. It's more of like a family like kind of embryotic corpse, if you know what I mean. Because people just kind of like like an atom, you know what I mean? It's got so many like links to each other. Do you know what I mean? But yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna say 7. What do you think?
7. I would agree. All right.
But here's a big scorer. WTF. We've already mentioned some of them, but what are the worst offenders?
So let's think about the really messed up things. He's lonely, so he bangs his shadow.
Yeah, that's not weird. That's cool. And
No,
something I'm going to be.
well, then what's happened is he's not obviously clearly prepared to become a father, so he sets them an impossible task or a seemingly impossible task, and they go missing for many years. That's
Mhm.
bad parenting. That's a bit WTF.
For sure. I also think, vomiting up stuff, pretty bad.
Pick up your children.
I also think that, also, like, here's a small thing we kind of push past that Geb and Nuts are conjoined twins, which are physically forced apart for eternity by Shu. That's pretty messed up.
By their own dad.
Yeah, that's weird. You know what I mean? It's like kind of like ripping apart like the fabric of two people. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, and also the fact that Osiris and the four children are married to each other.
Yeah, that's definitely WTF.
Certainly the whole chess thing was really weird.
Yeah, the whole party thing is weird. Like throwing a party and then being like, "Hey guys, want to play a fun game?" And everyone's like, "That sounds like a trick." And he's like, "No, trust me. I know it looks like the exact size of my brother, but if you want to jump in, that would be cool."
Also, we kind of skim past that he sneaks into his bedrooms to make measurements as well. That's weird.
Actually, yeah, that's funny.
And the fact that he gets cut up, thrown around, he's drowned. He's also, but also becomes the king of the afterlife. That's pretty cool. Yeah, there's a lot of WTF. I'm gonna say an 8 or a 9. It's pretty gory.
Is that Isis becomes a hawk? Like that's a super easy thing to do. She's like, "Oh, no need. I'll just become a hawk and find them."
Yeah, for sure.
What did you say? Sorry,
I think 8 or a 9.
I think an 8 or maybe.
Yeah, 8's fair because it's quite brutal, I'd say, but I think it's mostly sets work.
Yeah, exactly.
So we have 5, 6, 7, 8. Ooh, so baby, drive me crazy.
6, 5, 7, 8. Is that 26?
That is. I've got a calculator on my new laptop. Let me check it out. 5 plus 6 plus. Oh, I've messed it up. Sorry. Sorry. Let me try again.
How long are you doing?
5.
Oh my god.
Okay, so it is 240. Oh wait, no, yeah, it's 26.
Nice. Oh, thank God.
Close one there.
Yeah.
Well, Dan, it's been a pleasure to be back with you, mate.
Yeah, it has, isn't it? It's nice.
Before we go, please give us a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts or any podcast server you can do. And also check out the social media at Miss Podcast and Misfits on the Facebook group. Check out to see that picture there for sure. And on top of that, you can email us at misspodcast@gmail.com. Just share it around and have a nice time with it, really. But yeah, Dan, what are you doing for the rest of your day?
I am going to. I haven't had breakfast. This is the morning, and I haven't had breakfast yet, which is very unlike me. So right now, I'm hungry. Going to smash some Weetabix.
Dan, do it because it's the first episode back. Do you want to eat some Weetabix on air?
No.
Okay, fair enough. I thought it'd be a nice callback, but no, fair enough.
I enjoyed that Egyptian myth. I think we're going to have fun for the next few episodes with Egyptians.
I am very much looking forward to it as well, and I can't wait to see what's in stock. Really.
Yeah, the gods seem very human in Egypt, just like they did with Greco-Roman and Norse. I like that. They seem very fallible.
Absolutely, yeah. I think we're going to learn a lot from these Egyptian gods, and I like. Well, just for context, listener, Dan and I, as you kind of noticed with the episodes, we're really putting an effort into making the episodes a little bit longer and a bit more quality based because there's a lot to go around because we're doing like international myths, so we're going to be hitting a lot of different places. So that means we're going to make each episode like you get a lot of bang for your buck every episode.
Bang for your buck meaning it's free.
Yeah, bang for your free download. But yeah, also just a quick plug for me. If you wanted to check out my Twitch, I'm at Matt Hoss Comedy, and you can follow me doing some live streams. Dan, you can check it out as well.
Nice.
Yeah. Anyway, we should head off. I've been Matt Hoss.
I've been downwards.
And we'll see you soon. We should have a sign off like, "Ooh, yeah, Egyptian." Oh, your mummy fuckers, something like that.
We'll brainstorm.
Catch you later. Bye. So that was a poor ending from Matt Hoss there. Wow. You know what? We were on the home stretch, like lowering down the plane, and then what I did is just crash into ground. Goodbye, everyone. Bye.
Miffs.